Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum and peace be unto you. This is your brother and friend, Brother Timothy X, coming to you live and direct on the Arise and Shine podcast. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Today is that time of the week, Final Call Thursdays. It's that day of the week that we go into the Final Call newspaper and we pull out articles that we think and discuss articles that's relevant to what's going on in our community. Beloved family, I want to thank you all for joining us today on the Arise and Shine podcast. And for those of you who are joining me on Facebook Live on my Facebook page, Timothy Pratt, thank you so much for joining us. If you have not already done so, go ahead on and download Podbean to your on your phone so that you may be able to re-listen to the podcast to the episodes that we do each week. So thank you for joining us on Final Call Thursdays. Also, beloved family, before we get started, I want to give big shout out and thanks to the Mid-South Minister of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Student Minister Abdul Muthakir Muhammad, and the believing community over at 873 Vance Avenue. That's our dear brother, Student Minister Muthakir Muhammad, and the believing community over at 873 Vance Avenue in Memphis. Also, give a big shout out and much love to my brother, Brother Demetric, Student Minister Demetric Muhammad, and the believers over at Muhammad Study Group of Memphis in Whitehaven. Believers over at Muhammad Study Group in Whitehaven, 4088 Barton Drive. Oh, beloved family, I want to thank you for joining us today. We get started a little bit, a little bit later than we're supposed to, but we're gonna go ahead on and jump right into our subject matter today because we don't have time to waste. Things are moving fast, and I mean at lightning speed. And so if you got your head in the sand, you better raise your head up and take a look around you because things are getting exciting, to say the least. If you have not secured your latest edition of the Final Call newspaper, you better get your Final Call newspaper, the baddest newspaper on the planet. And beloved family, the latest edition, on the front, it has global disruption. Global disruption. And so, they say that, there was a some type of internet shutdown or internet, the internet went out a lot. I don't know. I must have slept through that one because I don't know if I experienced it, but I do know of people who were at the airport and they said they couldn't get any signals, and I think I hear that planes were shut down, and they couldn't, of course, they couldn't take off because they couldn't communicate. So, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. But that's what's on the cover, on the front page of the Final Call newspaper. So we want you to get your latest edition. Find your local FOI or MGT somewhere in your community because we're everywhere. So find your local FOI in your community, your MGT in your community, or your local mosque, and go and ask for your latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. So, beloved family, our topic today, when I saw, a couple of days ago, not long ago. Now we all watched, maybe you did or didn't, but the world watched President Joe Biden on BET. And he was talking to Ed, he was doing an interview with Ed Gordon. And he said that, because many people were trying to get President Biden to step down. And I've never seen that. I've never seen a political party try to get the incumbent to step down 3 months before the election. So, and I want to say, I said to my brother called me one day, and I was telling him, I said, man, in the next couple of months, you're going to see some stuff that you ain't seen, that you ain't never seen. It's going to be quite entertaining, to say the least. And so we watched President Biden. He talked on with Ed Gordon on BET, and Ed Gordon asked him about stepping down, and he said to Ed Gordon that he would not. Only way he would step down is if the Almighty told him he needed to step down, or the Almighty got him to step down, or something to that effect. Don't quote me on the exact words, but that's what he said. And so then, right after that, we see the deal with the thing that went on with President Trump. We saw that go on with him. And everybody thinking that after that went on with President Trump, everybody was thinking that, it was a shoo-in, because he was going to get the sympathy. Trump was going to get the sympathy vote, and all of a sudden, so, and we were all amazed at what was going on in the news. Then all of a sudden, you look on Twitter, there's a resignation letter from President Joe Biden, who's literally saying that he's resigning for running for president for the next 4 years. And then next thing you know, he's supporting Vice President Kamala Harris to run for president. And I had to laugh. I had to sit back and think about this, because I said, I had just told my brother, I said, man, after that went on with President Trump, I said the Democrats gonna have to pull something out the hat. They're gonna have to pull something out the hat, literally. And all of a sudden, voila, abracadabra, here we go. And so I assume the Democrats just don't feel that President Biden can beat Donald Trump, or he, and they say he's not up to it or whatever. But I just remember him saying that he was in good health, and they were interviewing people on in the White House, and they say that he was in good health and that he was going to be running, and he's going to run this race and all of that. And so now all of a sudden on Twitter, President Biden announces that he's not going to be running. And so now he's endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris to be to run for president against Donald Trump. And so that's where we get into the article in the Final Call newspaper, beloved family, because the article says, it is by our dear sister, Sister Starla Muhammad, President Biden not seeking re-election backs Vice President Harris as replacement. Now, I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 50 years old. I've never seen this. Has anyone ever seen a president step down from running? He's the incumbent, and all of a sudden he steps down. So I wonder, did the Almighty, who is the Almighty that he's talking about? Is it the Democratic Party? Because from what I understand, many of the Democratic donors said that if he kept running, they were going to withhold $90 million from the Democratic Party because they didn't want to support Joe Biden anymore. $90 million. Is the Democratic Party the almighty? Because they're gonna lose that 90 million. They were gonna lose that $90 million. So, because I know, and there's no way in the world that Joe Biden tweeted nothing. Joe Biden didn't tweet nothing. I can all say with all assurance that Joe Biden didn't tweet nothing. Who tweeted that for him? Did they sign his name to it? I'm just saying. But anyway, let's get into the article, beloved family. For those of you who are joining me on Facebook Live, thank you all for joining us. We're gonna get into this article, and because this is a very tricky time for us. So, listen to what Sister Starla, she writes the article. She says, after mounting pressure from his political party, President Joseph R. Biden announced July 21st that he would not seek re-election and stated he is placing his full support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. He's placing his full support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I think that deserves a round of applause, Joe Biden. He's and so she says in a release statement, Mr. Biden, a Democrat, said in part, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and my country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. That sounds so humble. Did he come up with that on his own? But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead on a little bit further because there's a part I want to get to in here. It said later in the day on Twitter, on X, which is formerly Twitter, Mr. Biden stated, "My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all of my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." I hear you, President Biden. So it sounds to me as if the Democratic Party didn't think that President Biden could beat Trump. And I'm a little concerned about, because I know everybody has been I listened to some of the radio shows, and everybody has been, pumping it up. And I think the sisters got on the phones, on the Zoom calls, and they raised over $1.5 million in something like less than an hour or something like that. I mean, they showed out. Them sisters showed out. Then I think Roland Martin, He got the brothers on the phone, and then they raised several. They raised $1 million or so. I don't know what the exact number of what the brothers raised, but in that, that everybody's raising, and this momentum is going, and it's growing and growing, and so people have been asking me, Brother Tim, what you think about this? What you think about Kamala Harris? Now, she's our sister, and there's a video going around of our dear brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. He's talking about Kamala Harris, something she said when she was running for vice president. That she said that when they asked her about reparations, and she said, "Let me be clear. I'm not gonna do anything just for black folk." And in essence, she was just saying that I'm gonna be a vice president for all the people. But then he also said, "Well, you all did something for the LGBTQ community. You did something for the Asian community." And I think when Biden got in, his first act was that Asian hate bill. Specifically. So now, as black people, we are in the valley of decision now. Because let's be honest. They've always given us somebody who looked like us but wasn't for us. That's where that term comes from. Everybody that's skin folk ain't kin folk. But another part of me says, there's a scripture in the Bible that says Babylon could have been saved. And I'm wondering, because we plan and God plans, and God is the best of planners. Could it be that our dear sister, she could be the savior, a savior for this country, to extend the time for this country? I guess I shouldn't say savior, but what I'm saying is that we all know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, America's time is up, but she can extend her time. Well, could this be it? And so I'm reminded of what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He says, for us as black people, he says, stop wanton criticism, open wanton criticism of other black folk in the public. We got to stop criticizing one another. I don't know what sister gonna do. But what I do know is that I think she has a better chance than Biden had. And I don't like the fact that Biden only waited 3 months out and throw her in there. See, just like it's always been like that. When they don't think they can win, all of a sudden, white people don't think they can win. They throw us in there, and all of a sudden, we got to come clean up their mess. And so now our sister gonna have to come in and clean up his mess, try to re-energize the Democratic Party, bring the party together. But I think you remember at the last election when Ice Cube, he wanted to meet with the Democrats, and he wanted to meet with Joe Biden, and he wanted to meet with Donald Trump. Joe Biden wouldn't even offer our brother an audience. They told him wait till after the election. Because, yeah, you put a black face in front of us. You nominated our sister, but we got to look at this. What are you going to offer us? Do we give away our vote for a black face? That's the question I got to ask. Do we give away our vote because our sister has a black face. Now, I'm not going to criticize her. I'm not going to, there's some stuff out there with Judge Joe Brown talking reckless. And so I would definitely say to my brother, Judge Joe Brown, man, cut that out. If you're not going to help her, don't hurt her. We should not be criticizing one another like that. Not in the public. Whatever your feelings are about her, you don't have to air it out on social media. You don't have to air it out like that. Just don't support her. Stand down, be quiet, and just don't support her. But I got to say to my sister, we glad to see you. We want to see you. We want to see you. But you got to put something you got to put an agenda together for us. I know you got to say what you got to say. Well, I can't, you said, just like when Barack Obama became president and Hillary Clinton challenged him, Brother Derek. Hillary Clinton challenged Barack Obama. And she said that, what'd she say? Do you denounce Minister Farrakhan? And brother, he didn't want to do it. He denounced the minister, whatever. And many of the black leaders came out and they wanted to, and the minister had to check everybody. The minister said, man, that man didn't want to do that to me. She forced him to do it. But the minister's not thin-skinned. The minister can see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, I want to show you what the bigger picture is, what you'll get out of Kamala Harris that you won't get, that you couldn't get out of Joe Biden, that you're not going to get out of President Trump. Do you know right now, and I don't know why, Brother Derek, I don't even know why I'm going this way, but this is the way that God seems to be taking me. And I want to put this on your mind, and I want you to think on these things, because I'm not going to come from some emotional standpoint, some emotional place. I want to go right. I want you to think on a spiritual level, on a deeper level. We knew, we black people in America, you ain't a damn thing you're going to get out of none of these candidates that's going to really benefit us. You're just not going to get it. So if you think that because they put a black face in front of us, that all of a sudden, we're going to sing Kumbaya. However, you're dead wrong. Like Biggie Smalls said, you're dead wrong. Well, but the thing that Barack Obama gave to America, this black man, they didn't find any scandal on him. I think the worst thing that they tried to do, Trump tried to say he wasn't born in America, he was born in Hawaii or some Indonesia somewhere. But they couldn't find anything. He had a beautiful black family. He had a black wife and black children, and the black mother-in-law, all in the White House. And it was a beautiful thing, because you ain't never seen that in no president. There was always scandal. And so black children, the greatest thing we got out of the Obama administration is that black young boys could look at the president on TV, look at pictures of the president, and then aspire. If he can do it, I can do it. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that it made young black boys feel that, it gave black boys hope again, to feel that they can be something in life. And that's the greatest thing that he ever could have gave, is a black face in the highest office in the land. That was better than any doggone bill that he could have passed that they weren't going to follow no way. Tell me I'm lying. They got plenty of bills on the books that most people don't follow anyway. They lie. And then they circumvent it. You had Brown versus Board of Education for over 50 years, and they overturned it. Did they not? So if the law is not, I don't care how much you pass it, if it's not written in your heart to follow the law, to obey the law, what good is the law? And as a result of Barack Obama, now we got more young black men in houses, in the Senate, in the houses of representatives all around the country. Right here in Tennessee, we saw Joseph, what's his name? The brother that had the afro. Somebody give me that brother's name. But you seen it was Justin Jones and Justin Pierce, both in Tennessee. You got a black mayor in Birmingham, Baltimore, Maryland. All over the country, you're seeing these young black men. They saw a black president and they desired to aspire. Right over here in Earl, Arkansas, 18-year-old black man, Carlos, 18 years old, is the mayor of Earl, Arkansas. Do you think that came out of a vacuum? They saw a black face like themselves. You see, one of the things that they always try to do, they always try to ruin a black man's reputation because they never want to put a positive face in front of black children. Because if you put, black children may not want to be rappers. They may not want to be ball players. They probably want to be scientists. They probably want to be mayor. They probably want to help change some of the laws. So Barack Obama did that for young black boys. Well then, if he did that for young black boys, what do you think a black woman being the president of the United States would do for young black girls? Huh? You mean to tell me that our young baby girls don't need a role model to look up to? Yeah, I know. For those of us who are old enough, we already know. We know the president don't run the country. Got it. But wouldn't it be beautiful to see that black girl magic on the TV screen? Wouldn't it be beautiful to see her and our babies look and say, listen, that black woman is president of the United States, the first black president. And they don't have to go to all the Civil Rights Museum and see all the dead heroes. They should go because you got to know your history. I'm just saying it's better. What does the Bible say? That a live dog is better than a dead lion. So our babies could go and see they can look on TV and see a beautiful black woman as president of the United States. That's all I'm saying, to give them hope. Right now, our beautiful sisters, all of our sisters out here, you mean to tell me they got that's right, Carlos, the bigger picture. That's right. We're looking at the bigger picture here. Get out of your emotions. Get out of all of that foolishness, all of that stuff about, what she said and she ain't gonna be able to do it. Man, please. Obama couldn't do nothing. You remember when Obama became president? They had already agreed they was gonna try to make him a lame duck president. But he did something more on a spiritual level. He did something more. Let me tell you something. Even if you had a Biden or Trump, young white boys can look at that TV and they see themselves. So just like they could see themselves for the last 200 years, for once we got a chance to see ourselves. And now, what if our sisters, our baby girls, could see themselves? Right now, All the little girls on the they doing the and I hate to even say the word, the moose knuckle challenge. That's what they putting in front of our babies. And you gonna talk to me about politics, about somebody not what they ain't gonna do for somebody? So what? You want them to continue to look at Glorilla and the moose knuckle challenge? That's what we doing. Listen, let me tell you something. What the minister told us. He said, where there are no good women, there are no good men. And if you don't protect your woman, we the only people out there putting our women out like that. If you don't protect your women, you can forget it. That's right, Carlos. If she don't get it, another white man gonna be in there, and there we go again. And the best your baby girls can look up to is Sexy Red and Glorilla and all of that foolishness. And I'm not saying those are our beautiful sisters. I am not gonna talk bad about them, but we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to turn that radio off or turn that TV off because this is in front of our babies. So, beloved family, we gotta look at this now. I wanna share something with you real quick that Brother Derek shared with me. And this came out. I think this is the it's a tweet that somebody sent the minister. Somebody sent the minister, and he has that Teachings 2.0, and these are different tweets that people sent him all over the world. And this man, he took the time to answer everybody's tweet. Listen to this. It says, in one of your lectures, you said Bush was America's last president. What does that mean since Obama's in office? And the minister said, recently at the White House, there was an unveiling of the president portrait of George W. Bush. He said, the first president was George W., and I am the last president whose picture is going to be hung in the White House. George W., if you notice, he is the last president because those who come after him, whether it was President Obama or Mitt Romney, they're all following the Bush policies that were given to him by the neoconservatives. That agenda make Bush the last because it will bring America to its destruction. Beloved family, exactly what I just said. It don't matter who's, I'm talking about politically. There's an agenda and those who run this agenda, they're not out in the public. They run the president. We're not getting into that because it is what it is. I don't care who you put in there. Put Trump in there. Put Trump in there. You put whoever you want in there. This thing is bigger than them. But I want us now to take a look at Vice President Kamala Harris. That's our sister. If you don't like her, that's fine. Keep your mouth off of her. Just say no comment. Keep your mouth off of her. Don't hurt her. You're not going to help her. Don't hurt her. But keep your mouth off of her. Let us take the opportunity to show your babies this woman and say, look, baby, she's the vice president and she's running for president. And you should look at her. And you could do that too. And your baby, you watch that gleam in their eyes. Because they see all these people supporting her. that does something to the human spirit. It brings something up out of you that makes you feel you can accomplish anything. And your baby may not want to participate in the moose knuckle challenge. I'm just saying. So we want to, if you are planning to vote, because I'm gonna be honest with you. You all have heard me on this podcast. You've heard me on Facebook Live. I've always said, if it was Biden or Trump, I ain't give a damn which one it was. One devil ain't, what? It was Satan or Beelzebub. But I'm looking at the bigger picture, as Carlos said. I'm looking at the bigger picture. And so I'm not gonna bash my sister. I'm gonna donate. I'm gonna donate to the campaign. I'm gonna vote. And so, and I'm encouraging you to do the same. Not because you expecting her to change what 200 years of presidents have set up. You think that Barack Obama in 8 years could have changed what 200 years of white supremacy set up? No. You ain't gonna get out of this. Let me tell you something. Let me tell my people something. You ain't gonna get out of this without working yourself to change your own condition, to make your neighborhoods a decent and safe place to live. You're not gonna get out of this thinking that the president gonna change everything for you. You're gonna have to get out there and make your communities decent and safe place to live. You're gonna have to get out there. You're gonna have to raise your children right. You're gonna have to hold them accountable for their actions. You're gonna have to do all of that. You're gonna have to be better parents. And you're gonna have to start teaching turn that TV off and put down those doggone phones. The children are on their phones and you on yours. See, let's get back to that. You're going to have to get them doggone buttons off your head. Yeah, I know you think I'm President Obama now because he was calling us out because we walking around in house shoes. Let me tell you something. I'm trying to see where I was at. I was at a restaurant somewhere. I was at Cracker Barrel. I was out of town, and I was at Cracker Barrel. And I was waiting on some food. I was waiting on my dinner. And this young lady came into Cracker Barrel. It's one of our sisters. She was pregnant. And she didn't have on her maternity clothes. So, when you're pregnant and you don't have on maternity clothes, you wear those little shirts and your stomach stick out. And she had on house shoes and a belly out. And she came in for a job interview. And you want the president to fix that. You want Joe Biden, Trump, or Kamala Harris, whoever going to be president, you want them to fix that. No, that's not their job. That's your job and my job. We got to call our babies now. We got to take responsibility in our own communities to man up and support those in our own community. Right now, we got a brother, one of our dear brothers, Jason Sharif. He's running for school board, District 7, right here in Memphis. He said the turnout at the polls are so low. Well, if you're not concerned about your children's education, your grandchildren's education, then what are you going to get? You just going to complain about it? Man, they doing some crazy stuff in them schools and then send your baby right back? Beloved family, I want us to take the opportunity now. We're going to take the opportunity to take advantage. I want you to look deeper. Stop listening to CNN and Fox News and all that stuff. Don't get into that. Look deeper into it. Because as I stated, the Bible says Babylon could have been saved. We've always came to the rescue and saved white people. We saved them. We saved the country. I was down in Tuskegee, Alabama, and I went down to the Tuskegee Airmen Museum, and they showed how they didn't want black people, they didn't want the black brothers flying the planes and all that stuff there. But then, they were getting bombed so much, so when they finally let the brothers fly, they flew more successful missions than anyone else in the Air Force. More successful mission, so much so that the white boys said, "Man, we want them colored boys to escort us." We've always done that. We've always cleaned up their mess. Well, just think about this. What if Sister Kamala Harris, and whoever her running mate is going to be, may be in a position to do something that most white men wouldn't be willing to do? And may be in a position to say, hell, if you're going to get reparations, you ain't going to get it from a white man. He ain't going to get it to you. But I'm saying, Babylon could have been saved. America can be saved. She got to do right by by the black people, by us. She can be saved. She can have an extension of time. So said the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But her time is up. So what you gonna do, America? Are you gonna put another white man back in office because you can't stand to see a black face in that office? Are you gonna offer her an opportunity? Now, Black America, I want you to stand down. I want you to just hold on a second. I'm talking to white America now. Are you gonna allow, if our sister get elected, are you gonna allow her an opportunity to fix what you done messed up for 200 and some odd years? See, this is your test, America. White America, let me say that. You have an opportunity to do what's right. You didn't have President Trump as a president before. You already know what he's going to do. And he already told you. So, what are you going to do? Will you take a chance on a sister giving America an extension of time? Maybe America get an extension of time. Maybe that's what this is all about. But anyway, I just want to say to you, family. Now back to black people, because I don't talk to white people too much, but I talk to black people all the time. Family, that's our sister. And again, if we're not going to help her, we ain't going to hurt her. Let us put our babies in front of her. Let her see our babies. Let her know that we support her as a community. I know you got all these Dr. Umar Johnson. I like my brother. That's my brother. Dr. Umar, my brother. But I'm asking you, Doc, come on, man. I know what you're saying is the truth. But they say truth told out of season is worse than telling a lie. So let us be found doing what's right when it comes to our dear sister. Okay, beloved family, before we get ready to land this plane, I think I done beat that dead horse enough. Before I go, in this article, she also says that, she named a lot of the people who endorsed our sister. And then she's saying that, at Final Call Press Time, that the Obamas hadn't endorsed Sister Kamala Harris. And so I was kind of checking around and looking around there. And so there's an article on in USA Today. Hold on a minute. Let me pull it up. There's an article in USA Today. It says that yes, Barack Obama is going to endorse Kamala Harris. It's just a matter of time. Now, I don't know what that means. What do you mean it's a matter of time? Maybe they're trying to see if she gets the Democratic nomination. But our sister has hit the ground running. She has that momentum going. And let's see what the Democrats say. Let's see what the Democrats say. Let's see if they're going to nominate our dear sister. From what I understand, they said the Clintons have endorsed her. Bill and Hillary has endorsed her. But they said that even though Obama has not yet, they said he will. Listen to what they said. Say Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Barack Obama have been in regular contact, and a formal endorsement of her fast-moving 2024 bid for the White House is coming soon, sources said Thursday. Obama is serving as a sounding board for her, and he has, over the 20 years they've known each other, said a person familiar with discussion. Oh, this is a person who's familiar with this. See, that sounds like, that sounds like some BS, they some political answers, it's just a matter of time. Well, like I said, I don't know if he's gonna do it or not. And not really too concerned if he does or not. Just, but if he does endorse her, I think the biggest endorsement she could get is Michelle Obama too. Hell, I would even like to see a Harris Michelle Obama ticket. Wouldn't y'all like to see that? Oh, that would be, oh man, that would be awesome. And I think President Trump's now saying that he wants to debate Vice President Harris. So I would like to see that debate as well. Because if you look at the debate between him and Joe Biden, he didn't answer none of the questions. He did a lot of shock jock, you know what I mean? Just said a lot of stuff and called a lot of names or whatever. He answered no questions. But that's what people seem to like nowadays. They love, and the Bible was right. It said they would no longer endure sound doctrine, but they would heap to that which tickles the ear. And that's what it looked like. Because during the debate, Biden was answering questions. Trump didn't answer none. He just called names and, does what he always do. And so that was funny to me because many people talking about, yeah, Trump won the debate. I'm like, how? He didn't answer no questions. But he just made he did a lot of talking loud, saying nothing. And so and most people love that. They love you can get on a podcast right now and don't say nothing. Just get on there and just talk crazy. People watch it. They love that foolishness. But that's not what we're about here. So we're gonna wait and see what Obama does. We're gonna wait and see what how this thing goes on for our sister. But I want you all to heed my words. I want you, if you got grandbabies, if you got young children, I want you to heed my words. This is bigger than the office of president. As Carlos said, this is, you got to look at the big picture. This is bigger than the office of president. Let your baby see a black woman in that position and watch her mind, watch her eyes glaze over, because she sees hope that she can do something just as great. So if that's all you get out of this, that's all we get out of this. I got 3 grandbabies, all girls. And if they can say, I want to be whatever, I can do it. Kamala Harris did it. This podcast will be worth it, I promise you. So, beloved family, before we go, we're going to get ready to land this plane real quick. We got about 7 minutes. I want to read to you one more thing. As you know, we were sending our support to our dear brother, our Native American brother, Leonard Peltier. We was hoping that he got parole July 11th. And so he wrote a letter. And I want to read our dear brother's letter on the air, because we cannot forget our Native American people, because those are our brothers and sisters. Lord, what did I do with it? Hold on one second, family. Yeah, there we go. We got it now. We got it. But our dear brother, it's a letter from Leonard Peltier. He's been locked up, brothers and sisters, for over 50 years. 1973, I think it was. He's a political prisoner, part of the American Indian Movement, or AIM as they call it. And he's a political prisoner. He went to prison for trying to stand up for his people. And so if you're going to go to prison, that's what you go for. You don't go for no foolishness. But anyway, he wrote this. He wrote this letter June 26, 2024. He says, "Greetings, my friends, family, loved ones, and supporters. Hope is a hard thing here, but I always hold hope in you. My people, pay attention. The parole decision on July 11th may show you what justice truly means to this nation and to whom it is meant for. Living in lockdown, time has twisted into something that has nothing to do with minutes, hours, or years. They have taken what little freedom I have outside this box. Art, gone. Ceremony, gone. Yet they will never take the spirit of a sun dancer. I have never given them my integrity. I remain undestroyed. I will not pretend my body is sound. The lockdown have been tough on all of us in ways I cannot begin to explain, and those on the outside cannot begin to imagine. I'm counting on you. If this decision does not go my way, I will always need your prayers. I need you to demand that this country finally commit one act of justice. My attorney assures the battle is not over, and until it is over, she will not back down. I am counting on you not to back down. My time is running out here with no medical care. I do not fear death, returning to Mother Earth's womb, but I do not want to die in lockdown. In my solitude, my mind often returns to Raymond Yellow Thunder. The profound tragedy of Raymond's murder sparked change in our people and showed them who the American Indian movement is. Raymond was a hard-working man. When he came into town to give money to his sisters, it was not enough for the Ray brothers to humiliate Raymond, to strip him and parade him around an American Legion dance, Raymond was shoved into the trunk of a car and died the next day. The Ray brothers were charged with second-degree manslaughter and released with no bail. Raymond's sisters were distraught that even the small charge may not stick. The authorities would not release the autopsy report. They would not allow Raymond's sisters to see his body. The sisters sought help from the BIA, the tribal government, and private attorneys. In desperation, they turned to the American Indian movement. Now, just so you know, the American Indian movement is what the part of the movement is the movement that Leonard Peltier was a part of. Now, who he was standing up for was not even a part of his movement. But because they were Indian and because they were denied justice, the American Indian movement stood up for them. And so that's one of the reasons why he's in prison. And so he says, the American Indian movement members are spirit warriors, not merciless savages. We organized 200 carloads of people to demand justice. With dignity, we demand justice. Sheriff deputies, state troopers, and FBI agents agreed that serious charges should be filed against the Hares, and I guess he called them scared, and the local police chief should be dismissed. Indigenous people started holding their heads up, and after that victory, they started speaking out against abuses by the BIA and tribal government and white or ranchers profiting off of their land. We must not allow Raymond's fate to befall others. My mother used to ask with dismay. I want y'all to listen to what his mother used to ask, because it sounds like us. Listen to what his mother would ask. Why is it so bad to be Indian? Isn't that what some of us ask? Why is it so bad to be black? See, we have a shared struggle. He said, I find myself wondering why they hate us so. We will triumph over the misguided hate of others. Never ever forget who you are. We are the first people. Mother Earth herself fires the blood that runs through our veins. Protect each other. Protect Mother Earth for future generations, and stand with oppressed people everywhere. Remember that true strength does not reside in holding power over others. Strength comes from living out of a place of humility and integrity, inspiring others to find their unique strength. Oppression is rising, running like black mold through every facet of society. We must stand together and let society know that indigenous lives are not cheap. The lives of our oppressed brothers and sisters are not cheap. My people are worthy of basic human dignity. Colonialism has all but destroyed us. We must do nothing less than transform society into a place where human beings are not disposable. Do not weep if I am not granted parole. Cry freedom. Coalesce yourselves. Galvanize your relationship. Establish alliances. In the power of our people, we find strength. Hold your head high. It is not over until it is over. In the spirit of Crazy Horse, Leonard Peltier. Beloved family, that's our dear brother. Let's give him a hand clap. Yes, that's our dear brother, Leonard Peltier. May God be pleased with him. May God bless him. And I got to find out if they granted him parole or not. I hadn't seen it in the latest paper. But we're going to find out, and we'll get that to you all. Beloved family, I want to thank you all for joining us today as we get ready to land this plane. Thank you so much. May God bless you. May God keep you. And if you're not doing anything on Sunday morning at 10 a.m., come on out to 873 Vance Avenue, and fellowship with your brothers. If you're not, if you're in the Whitehaven or South Haven area, come on over to 4088 Barton Drive and fellowship with your brothers in Whitehaven. And if you're way down in Holly Springs, go on over to the Holly Springs Study Group. May God bless you and may God keep you, man. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you.